Alrighty boys, welcome back to another step-by-step video. Now today's video is going to be on mute. We're going to be showing you guys all of the ways that I like to play mute to get myself free kills. Now, the general idea when it comes to mute, guys, is that the moment that you start into the round, guys, you guys need to start prepping the bomb site. You need to make head holes, you need to make the rotates to the best of your ability is what I will say, because, you know, I know if you're a lower rank, you might not know what the best, setup is for every single bomb site. So to the best of your ability, you know, make the basic rotates. If you're not comfortable with head holes, don't bother making the head holes. If you know what I mean, if your team wouldn't be comfortable with it, or you yourself aren't comfortable with it. But if you do know the site setups, then yeah, use that time to set up the rotates, get the head holes, get everything you need to do for the round. Put your mute jammers down somewhere where they're going to be useful. Typically, I like to put my mute jammers on doorways to deny drones, or like I said in my other step-by-step videos, is that if you have a bandit on the board, don't bother putting a mute jammer on the wall. If you don't have a bandit, then you can put a mute jammer on the wall if you want. I don't really think it is that important to put one on the wall, but you know what I mean? It could be the difference between the enemy team getting it open because they didn't bring, or they brought a Thatcher, versus them not being able to get it open because they didn't run the Thatcher. You know what I mean? So it could technically swing around just by putting the mute jammer there. So I do feel like I should bring that up at the bare minimum. Now, in this specific round on Outback here, what I'm going to be doing in the position that I'm opting to play for is actually going to be for the laundry door. The reason for laundry door is because it's going to give me an easy access for dorms to be able to swing aggressively to essentially contest enemy team if they want to walk into the breach, jump into dorm's window, or maybe bathroom window. It'll basically just give me a very nice spot to play here where I can swing aggressively. My SMG-11 is fantastic in this position as well. I'm going to be able to take all of these gunfights into close range proximity, which is another thing you guys want to do when you are playing the SMG-11, is being able to swing on close range proximity gunfights. Now, what's going to end up happening here is eventually one of my teammates is going to die by yellow, so I'm going to swing aggressively for the main breacher. I'm going to end up getting myself a free kill on an ace repelling in because I saw him early on in the round, so I knew if I swung, I might get myself a free kill. Right here, unfortunately, I'm going to end up getting flashed by a Flores inside of dorms here. I'm going to go ahead and swing him aggressively here. Unfortunately, I don't hit their headshots on him right here, so I'm not going to be able to kill him. But luckily for me, I'm going to go ahead and injure him with another swing here. And then this Grim is actually not going to run in on me for the refrag, which actually gives me an opportunity to just play safe in this position. He's actually going to end up rotating over to yellow, which is actually a mistake for him in this position. So I'm going to go ahead and just rotate back, reload my guns, get all nice and fancy, and then we're going to go and just hold the laundry door here. He's going to swing aggressively. I'm going to get myself an easy kill to secure the round right there, because I basically off-angled myself at the end of the round right there to get a free kill onto him, because he's not going to be expecting that whatsoever. Now, next up, we're going to be on the Oregon basement here. Now, the important thing to realize with this bomb site, and unfortunately, I didn't have the prep phase for this bomb site, but the idea that I'm going to be looking for, it's like the same concept again. You want to make the rotate holes however you can, the head holes, put your mute jammers down in places where they're going to be useful for drones, that type of thing. And then usually I like to play by the back stairs. However, in this specific round, I actually opted to play over by laundry. And the reason why I did that is because I don't want to show you guys the same step-by-step content for the same positions all the time. So that's why I decided to opt to play over by laundry. And the idea with this spot that I'm playing in currently is that my main goal is to knife for freezer as well as laundry walkdowns. Basically, I have the head holes to my left. I am on cameras right here just cycling to see where the enemy team is going to try to do their push from. But in a general, for context, the enemy team is going to be trying to go for laundry at some point during this round. And my goal is going to basically be to shut down that position of the map. Now, the one thing that is, like I said earlier on the Outback clip, is that the SMG-11 is really, really strong for denying those close range engagements, if that makes sense, or just outright killing the enemy team on those close range gunfights. And that's what you guys want to do when you are playing mute, is you want to be taking those close range gunfights whenever you can to get, because it's basically, in my opinion, it's basically a free kill. If you can swing somebody on like a close range gunfight, it's essentially a free kill because of just how fast the SMG-11 shoots. And then you do also have the shotgun as a backup as well. And I don't think you should just force gunfights with the shotgun. You technically could, but I do think it's usually going to be better if you are like in the mid to like short range to just use the SMG-11 usually. If you are right up on a doorway, then yes, you would swing out with the shotgun instead. Now, right here, the enemy team is actually going to go ahead and start opening up for bottom laundry. I'm going to swing aggressively because one of the enemy players actually ends up dropping the hatch. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my injure right here with the SMG-11. Like I said, it's one of those gunfights that's very, very strong for me in this position. There is one more guy inside of laundry in this position. I was hoping he would walk in and just go right into my shotgun here and I'll get another free kill. However, he's not going to do that. He's actually going to end up just sitting there. So I'm going to go ahead and just rotate back to this bomb angle. This is a nice little off angle that you guys can use. Now, in a high champ lobbies, people will probably pre-fire you on this angle. But I feel like in these lobbies that I'm in, these are still champ lobbies, by the way, they're not really going to expect it. In the current moment, at least that was what was going through my head. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sit here. They're gonna actually end up flashing me out here. This guy's gonna run in. I believe the reason why he doesn't kill me here is because he didn't actually expect me to be in this corner. So I get myself a free kill, and then I'm gonna go ahead and retreat into laundry, play my shotgun now. There's only so much time left. There's actually gonna be a gridlock gonna try to full sprint into me, so I'm gonna swing aggressively with my shotgun early, so that way I can go ahead and swing him before he swings me, so I'm not the one that's getting swung. Because if I'm the one that swings him, I'm gonna have not aggressiveness, excuse me. I'm going to have the advantage in the gunfight if I swing first. Does that make sense? And I feel like that doesn't really get talked about a lot, but the reason why we're in a swing or be swung meta is because essentially what swing or be swung means is basically if you're the one that gets swung, you actually have like a slightly lower reaction time than the enemy player. So basically, when someone swings into you, they're going to see you before you see them, basically. That's the general idea of it. So you want to always, whenever you can, if you know you're about to get swung, you need to be the one who initiates the swing. Does that make sense? And that will eventually lead to more winning gunfights, if that makes sense. Because, for example, if someone swings into you, right, and you swing into them, now that's an even gunfight because you're going to see each other at the same time, essentially. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but in my head, that is how it would work, at least, you know what I mean? But if you just stand still, you're just going to be at a disadvantage. Now, next up, we're going to be over on Consulate here. Now, I personally like to play over by admin at the beginning of the round whenever I'm playing on this map. And the reason why is because sometimes people like to solo push for admin. Maybe they double push for it. But what ends up happening is that a lot of times you can play on this little doorway that I'm playing on for copy here, and you can swing aggressively to catch anybody trying to push into admin. Now, unfortunately, my teammates are going to start dying over by yellow in this position, so I'm going to go ahead and start rotating back a little bit here. I can't give up this position completely yet, and the reason why is because they could make a play over here. However, I do know that in this position that there was one guy in spiral, so I'm going to actually rotate down beast stairs since nobody's actively challenging me. I'm going to go ahead and start working my way up spiral for a flank here, and for whatever reason with this staircase, you don't really get the best of audio for people flanking you on this staircase, so I actually end up getting myself a free kill on Ash, and then on my way back, I'm actually going to end up catching, I believe that was a Aurora or a Jackal or something like that, and I get myself a free kill onto him, putting us into a nice 2v2 position. I'm going to go ahead and try to rush back into site right away here, because if my teammate dies, I'm in a bad position. However, what ends up happening is I do make it back as he dies, so I'm going to be able to swing aggressively, get one kill on one guy to get a refrag, and then we're going to swing aggressively with the shotgun, because like I said, if you're in close range, you want to try to use that shotgun. Now, right there, he actually was on the mid-range, but his shotgun did more than enough, because I believe my teammate that did die in that position lit that guy up, which is the reason why I'm able to swing the shotgun in that position and actually get the free kill. If he was 100 health, that'd be kind of crazy, but I'm like 99% sure my teammate lit him up, and that's the reason why I was able to swing with the shotgun there to get the kill. Next up, we're going to be over on Chalet. We're going to be on the master bedroom bomb site. Now, in general, with this setup, I typically will hang around master at the beginning of the round. I usually put my mute chambers around half wall, K9 door, piano, double door, and then solar will usually be where I put my last couple of mute chambers. Sometimes I'll put 2 over by solar. Sometimes I'll only put 1. It's just kind of up in the air, whatever you think is best in the current moment. You could even if you wanted to, and I feel like I would only recommend this if you know the enemy team is going to go for a certain push. You could technically put all of your mute chambers on one side of the map to completely shut down or make it really difficult for enemy team to push that side of the map. And I do actually kind of recommend doing that, because you're going to essentially force the enemy team to have to change their approach if you do something like that where you put all of your mute jammers on one side. It's kind of like the same concept where, like, if you put like double barbed wire on a staircase, like most people are just not going to even want to push it. Now, what's going to end up happening here, guys, is that not really much is going over on by solar here, so I'm going to go ahead and walk up, try to see what's going on, see if anybody's pushing piano windows, maybe walk back since nobody was on piano windows here, and we're going to go right back into master. Now, the reason why I'm hanging around in master, by the way, is because of two reasons. First is to the nice solar walk up, and then the other reason is to nitro people for big window, which I think is a very consistent nitro cell. Now, what is going to end up happening here for context is there's actually going to be a guy who's going to walk in for K9 here. I'm going to end up seeing him walk in right here in the corner of my eye, so I'm going to swing aggressively to get myself a free kill, putting us into a nice 2v3 position here. So I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively for K9 here, try to see if there's any other potential free kills that I can get. They didn't shoot a double window in this position, so I'm going to go ahead and just rotate over to the half wall in this position, because if they don't have that window open, but the last three guys in this position are over my mez, then I should just basically look for a swing for here, because the enemy team doesn't really have a play where they walk over back on the K9. So I swing, get myself a free kill on Flores, and then they're going to go ahead and open up that double window now. I'm going to go ahead and try to swing aggressively early here for this K9 window double door here, or double window here. And the reason why I swing aggressively is because I was trying to look for a cheeky kill into the ace in this position. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get it. He's going to actually end up just jumping over here in a second once my Frost kills one of his teammates. I'm going to go ahead and just back up in this position because he has to be the one to swing me. But like I said, I swung a little bit early right there, so that way I could get a little bit more advantage on him or make it a more even gunfight. It's the SMG-11 versus the AK-12. My gun has a way higher fire rate than the AK-12. I get the headshot, so I win that gunfight outright. Next up, we're going to be over on Skyscraper here, guys. And unfortunately, I don't have the prep time to really show you guys in this clip. But in general, I have my mute chamber set up to the United Drone Holes for sight. I have one on the top house wall. I have one on the drone hole by Samurai. And then I have another one over by the terrace door, if I'm not mistaken, in this position. And in my last one, I put it on the T doorway. The reason why I put it for T doorway is because it'll help for anybody outside on the T balcony, because it acts as a double mute jammer. It'll stop for T doorway, and it'll also stop for the T balcony. Now right here, I'm doing a little fancy angle that you might have seen from my TikToks or my YouTube shorts. This is a nice little angle for potential free kills for anybody rushing bathroom on the first floor early on, because a lot of times they won't even check if this is open or not. You'll just get yourself a free kill when people hop into the window. Now, since nobody is actively pushing there, I'm going to go ahead and just start rotating back. I'm going to barricade the drums doorway here, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate over to terrace, because that's where I'm getting audio of where the main bulk of the enemy team is going to be pushing from in this position. Now, what is going to end up happening is there's actually going to be a guy on this terrace doorway. He's actually just sitting on it. He actually makes a little bit of noise for me in this position. So I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively to get myself a free kill, I believe on a Nomad, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to go ahead and just sit here now, wait for another guy to try to swing me. I do light up somebody in this position. There's also going to be a guy that shoots down my drums doorway in this position. So once again, I'm going to swing while he swings into me, so that way it's a more even gunfight. I have the SMG-11 though, so I'm going to be able to win that gunfight and basically secure the round in this position. Now it's a 4v3 position. We're in a very winning position at this point. All I really have to do, like I said, is make sure they can't do any type of push through terrace, because this is where the main bulk of their push is going to be coming from. So as long as I hold down this doorway, they don't really have much else to do to actually be able to win the round. Now, one thing I will say is that my teammates are going to go ahead and just kill two guys on the offsite, basically, because what ends up happening is, like I said, if they don't push through this doorway, they have no play, so that means my teammates get free kills on everything else, is what I mean by that, because there's no gap. So it's 3v1 position. Last guy's also outside this terrace door. All I gotta do is just sit here and hold it. The last guy is actually gonna jump in to the wall in this position. However, this forces him into a nice 3v1 position with us. I'm gonna shotgun out the soft wall in this position, and then I'm gonna go ahead and swing aggressively, get myself a free kill into him to secure the round off of the red pings that my teammates were giving me in that position. This time I do have the prep phase for you guys this time. So like I said, I'm going to put one meat jammer on the K9 door. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce the double wall here. Like I said earlier in this video, that with mute, if I have a bandit, then I won't put mute jammers on the main wall. If I do have a bandit, then I will put a mute jammer on the main wall. So I go ahead and put one here, because like I said, if they don't bring Thatcher, it's going to be basically an easy round win for us. If they're not able to open up that wall, we're going to put one on the piano double door here. Like I said earlier, piano double door I do feel like is a good spot for a mute chamber, because people do tend to drive their drones through there, and they usually won't try to drive it around the radius of that mute chamber, so you'll potentially get yourself easy kills. I'm going to open up a little bit of angles or shotgun holes for west main, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my last mute chamber for the solar door here. Like I said before, guys, I like to play over by master at the beginning of the round, master / bathroom. Now, sometimes I don't always go for this angle, but sometimes I will if I am in the mood for it. But you can go ahead and make holes above west main, and right here, the reason why I rotate away is because the enemy team tries to go for big window. I'm going to go ahead and toss one of my nitros out to try to look for a free kill. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it in this position. He's going to toss a flashbang up. But, however, this tells me when he tosses a flashbang here that he wants to swing aggressively for this big window this position. So I'm going to wait for him to get comfortable in that window, and then I'm just going to swing aggressively. Like I said, we have the SMG-11 in this position, so it's basically a free kill for us here. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate back over to jungle, which is the position I'm currently in, into piano here. There is a guy on the piano window here. I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively. Once again, it's a close-range gunfight once again, so I'm going to be able to get myself a free kill on, I believe that was a Flores. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to go ahead and rotate through piano here to piano double. Go top mez because nobody's holding me aggressively. I'm actually going to hear this Twitch get on his drone right here, and the idea here that I was looking for is that I was just going to hold this guy and wait for him to get off his drone when one of his teammates walked by, and then I was going to kill him. That was going to be my idea. However, what's going to end up happening is this last guy, the ace in this position, is just going to be baiting outside of on the K9 balcony in this position. The other guy in this position, I believe, is actually going to end up walking up solar, which my Legion is going to go ahead and kill in this position right here. And then we're going to go ahead and just be chilling. Like I said, this ace is just going to be baiting. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the end of the round here. He's just going to go ahead and just bait it out for the whole round. And all we got to really do in this position, like I could ego challenge him in this position, but it's much easier to just wait out the whole round and just win the round on the spot. That's another thing, by the way, guys, is that you shouldn't just always swing, even if it, like, you know what I mean, it's the last couple of seconds in the round, because most of the time people are just going to bait, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you don't sell your body to them, like, sure, you might be able to get the kill on him, but, like, if you don't sell your body for them, then you're just going to be, like, reducing the amount of deaths you have. And I think that's a good way of looking at it, is that if you reduce the amount of deaths that you have per game, that's also another good way of basically raising your KD if you lower the amount of deaths that you have per game. Because some people, they die like, you know what I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a game, you know what I mean? That's a little bit too extra in my opinion. And so you should always be trying to shoot for like a very low death counter. If you are at least care about KD. If you don't care about KD, then you can play however you want, in my opinion. But I'm going to go ahead and speed through this clip at the beginning here. I am trying to look for a nitro for a trophy in this position. I'm going to go ahead and get on cameras here early on. I'm not really going to see much. However, what is going to end up happening is there's going to be a ram that's going to drone for my attic in this position. His drone's going to get muted, and then he's just going to jump in right away like a psychopath. And we're going to go ahead and swing aggressively. And somehow my Azami actually ends up getting the free kill, even though I shotgunned the ram, and I don't actually get an assist, but that's okay because we're going to end up getting a free kill early on for that guy right there, which is fantastic because that ram push is actually a very common play that people make late in the round. Doing it early in the round I feel like is a mistake because it opens up your team to be able to get a free kill onto you, and then that essentially leads to us being able to win out this position outright, because now the only real play that the enemy team has is to go for trophy / master in this position. My teammates do sell their bodies, but we're going to go ahead and toss our nitrocell over the trophy wall here to get ourselves a free kill. And now we're in a nice 2v3 position. It is a little bit awkward here. There is going to be a guy who tries to jump in the attic window here, but I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively. I do whiff that with the SMG-11. Don't hate on me. I was trying to fix my sensitivity. That's the reason why I missed on that guy. But we're going to go ahead and get a kill on him with the shotgun. And then we're going to hold the attic doorway after we pop the Aurora gate that they had set on there. And he's going to go ahead and swing into me. I have the SMG-11 though, once again, guys. So we're going to be able to get the headshot on him with the superior fire rate weapon in that position. Now this last clip is going to be over on Chalet. Now this time we're going to actually be defending the kitchen dining bomb site. Now this one is a little bit more awkward. I don't really recommend going to this site unless you do have a 5-stack. However, I do think this bomb site is a whole lot better than going to wine bomb site, because I think with the wine bomb site you really need like a very specific like setup to really make it good. And what I mean by that is the warden that plays for wine, like elbow closet basically. You put a warden there with a shield and then you play it like to basically shut down for the wine push in general. And you bring a bunch of operators to make sure the shield doesn't like lose, basically. Now right here, one of my teammates is going to die early over by trophy, if I'm not mistaken, in this position. Like I said, guys, this is another bomb site that's actually really good with the west main angles. And the reason why I'm playing up here, by the way, guys, again, is that I like to play for bathroom. I like to play for master to look for potential nitro kills for big window. And then I like to hold this angle for west main for anybody potentially walking up. This will basically allow me to get myself easy kills early on into the round, which I do recommend to do when you are playing an operator like Ace, or not Ace, Mute, excuse me, because you're going to be able to find a lot more value when you look for free kills in the round. Right here, I'm going to shotgun a little hole onto trophy. Now, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, is not going to end up peeking this. He's just going to go ahead and just bait outside this window. I'm just going to be holding it. And just the act of me opening up that hole right there is basically only going to prevent that guy from being able to jump in the first place, which is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively here to refrag one of my teammates that actually died on the vert here. The guy killed him over by jungle, and so we just had to swing master in that position to get a kill onto him. And then we're going to go ahead and rotate down solar stairs. We're going to see somebody on the dining doorway. We're going to get shots onto him, and then I'm going to go ahead and play this really long angle with the SMG-11. Like I said, I was working on my sensitivity. This is when my sensitivity was still good, so I was able to line up the shots and hit that guy from the long range in that position to get myself a free kill. The last guy in this position is Ram. He's on vertical. He popped his Ram device upstairs, so he's going to most likely look to drop hatch in this position or go down solar. He ends up dropping the hatch here, so I get myself another free kill on the close range gunfight. But hope you guys enjoyed today's step-by-step video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!